Buddy, I'm back with another video here. I am thinking about starting this series. I don't know what to call it yet, but it's basically um, reliving Supercross history here. We're gonna start off here with this first episode. I'm talking about two races here. Probably the only time I'll talk about two races. But we are basically talking about races from the 2010s. Yeah, so we're gonna start. You get it. Like, we're just gonna talk about the race here and my thoughts on it and everything. We're starting here with Vegas 2017 because this race, unbelievable. What a unbelievable this race was. This race was goddamn crazy, to say the least. Like, damn, bro, my holy mackerel. Anyway, let's get this started here. I'm gonna do a 10-minute East Coast race, a 10-minute 250 race, and then a 10-minute 450 race. We'll talk about both races here. So we're gonna start off here with the 450s, not 450, 250s. I'm sorry. And this race is so far the greatest 250 main event in history. Like, don't even question me on this. Maybe everyone who um, grew up like in the 90s and stuff, or like before 2010, maybe you guys can think of a different one. But I'm gonna go with this one now, first, because this race, insane. Like, I was watching it and I damn near, I'm like damn near crying thinking about it. It's fitting that, I'm playing as Zach Osborne and Joey Savacci's out front, but I'm about to pass Savacci. Because these are the two that made this race historic. Basically, the race that changed the course of both of their careers here. This is absolutely insane. So, well, let's talk about it. West Coast, that championship had already been locked up by Justin Hill. We started the night. Jimmy Dakotas and Joey Savacci won the heat races. So for the East standpoint, Savacci won the heat race, and you were thinking, okay, Savacci's got the championship. Actually, Jordan Smith had the points lead. He was up by one on Osborne and Savacci, who were tied. So it was basically whoever finished in front of each other, whoever finished first out of those three, or like if Osborne finished in front of Savacci and Smith, like it ended up doing, Osborne would win the championship. So basically, one of them one of them had to finish in front of the other two for them to get the championship, and we all saw how that worked out. Um, race starts, and there is a massive pileup at the beginning. Like, I think it took down. I think it started when McElrath got into. I think McElrath got into Faulkner, and then Faulkner hit somebody, and the person he hit, I believe, was Dakota Alex, and Alex took Osborne down with him. So Osborne, I believe, rumor has it that he was 20 seconds back of 21st place. I don't believe that, but if that is true, it was definitely over 10 seconds. He was over 10 seconds behind first place. And yeah, Plessinger, I believe, was down in that, and he left Osborne. Plessinger, what a night he had. Probably set up 2018 for him, which he went on to win the championship. But yeah, basically what happened here was, while they're all going down, Cincerulo, Savacci, and Smith, they all get good starts. They were actually top three coming across the finish line there. And then after the finish line, they go into that other rhythm section there. I'll point it out when we come up to it. But they come in that other rhythm section, and not Smith, I'm sorry, Savacci tucks the front end, and washes out and goes down there. And then that sets him back. I believe he was fourth or fifth when he got up, because Davlos got around him. By the way, I don't know what the hell happened to Davlos here in this race, because he was second there, and all of a sudden he dropped to like 18th. That's a mystery in itself. I'll have to pay attention to that. So basically, as I said, Savatgy comes over the finish line here and washes out on this jump right here, and that kind of ruined his race, because he did not go forward after that. He went backwards. He just absolutely, that was unbelievable, that meltdown that I just witnessed there. Um, Unbelievable. And then I believe the same lap in the back rhythm section, Smith went off the track, got back on, remounted, and while they were playing replays of all the craziness that just happened, Smith comes down here and just noses it, endos super freaking hard, and goes down. Fun fact, actually, I was at this race, so it was the first time I ever seen my sister react to something like that, because she, I guess, saw it in person and really was horrified over it. Anyway, so Smith goes down, so that basically, Adam Cianciarulo was leading it, and mind you, the Osborne crash, the Savatgy crash, and the Smith incident, that's all in the first 5 minutes. 5 minutes. We still had 10 minutes to go after all that craziness. Because I believe Osborne went down at the beginning, Savatgy went down right after that, like when they were coming over the finish line for the first lap. And then Smith had that incident on the same lap. And then the next lap, with 11 minutes to go, Smith just eats it coming down that long start straight. And mind you, Savatgy at that point, I mean, yeah, Cianciarulo, he's out front, and I believe he was something like 3 points behind, 2.4, something like that. He was within 5 points at that point. So Savatgy, all he needs to do is just finish the race. And who was it? Was it Oldenburg got around him right after the Smith crash? Like 3 laps after the Smith crash, I believe it was Oldenburg, Plessinger, and Ferrandis who got around him. So that literally put Adam within 2 points. And then Dakotas, who had a terrible start, he was trying to work his way through the field. He catch it. Yeah, that did not happen in the race. That's just me. And then Dakotas, who obviously won the opening heat of the night, he got a bad start. He's trying to come through, and he catches Savatgy and gets around Joey as well. So I believe that was probably 8th. That was a pass for 8th right there, I believe. So, and then basically if McAdoo, who was the next guy in line, and I believe that was 9th, I believe that was 9th place. So Savatgy was 8th. McAdoo was 9th. If McAdoo had passed Savatgy, that was it. Like, that was it right there. Like, Savatgy was done. McAdoo, I don't know what happened. He was catching Savatgy. He was actually faster than Savatgy at one point. And I don't know what happened there, but something happened and he dropped off. And meanwhile, Osborne is just pretty easily going through the field at this point. And then he gets around Mitchell Harrison with like 2 to go. Not 2 laps to go, but 2 minutes to go. And Harrison gets him back. And then Osborne gets him again. Melross, who had a really good start. Hayden Melross, who remembers that guy? He's in this race too. He had a really good start. He dropped off. And then, so he was dealing with Savatgy, who's just trying everything to get around him. And honestly, I think watching the race today, watching it back, because I watched it a little bit I watched both of these races to get ready for this, just to refresh my memory. I honestly do think that Melross might have costed Savatgy the championship because Melross held Savatgy up big time. Like, I think that's where Osborne made up the time that he eventually needed. Um, because Savatgy got held up for like 2 laps, and at that point, so once Osborne got around Harrison, he was still like what 5 to 7 seconds back with like 2 to go. It was unreal. And as I said, 2 laps to go, Melross absolutely holds up Savatgy right here. I don't know if he knew. I don't know if he was trying. Obviously, he doesn't want to get past, you know. Um, but he absolutely held up Savatgy. But white flag comes out. Savatgy comes up the inside right here, stuffs him in this corner, and go. And at that point, I'm sure everyone is thinking, oh, Savatgy's got this. But watch out, because Osborne, let me put this in perspective for you. Osborne at this point was still about 2-3 seconds back, nowhere in reach to make a pass. By the time, and he's kind of getting held up by Melross too, so he's kind of losing time. And he is, I mean, around that sweeper that I just went through, he's absolutely pinning it, sending it, you know. And then finally, they cut away. Saints Rule wins the race, and I guess while Saints Rule was winning the race, Osborne got around well, he didn't do that, but he got around Melross before this triple, so I'm gonna imagine it's that turn right there. And then still, I mean, he has Savatgy in sight. Savatgy f's up the whoops. He's right on him. Still, like, I want, like, by the time they hit the second whoop section, he's still not in a position to make a pass. And then Savatgy f's up the whoops again. Osborne meets Savatgy right here, pulls his bike out from under him, and that's the championship right there. Unreal, like, unreal. Like, man, that stadium that night was absolutely electric. You could even feel it through the TV, I feel like, because obviously I just watched it right here. Like you didn't even need to be there to feel the electricity. So the like you didn't even need to be there to feel how like crazy and commotion commotion that they had in that stadium. You could feel it on TV, but holy hell, you could feel it in the stadium too. The stadium was bonkers. That stadium went bonkers that night. I've never seen Jenny Taft, like, she's a great person. She was the one who was doing the interviews that night for the podium. I don't think I've ever seen a reporter cry after a race. Like, legit, everyone was in tears. There's a shot of when Osborne makes a pass and he's going down the section or the straight to head to the finish line. There's a shot Adam Entignap's on the far outside gate and he's losing his mind. Justin Shanty, Savatgy's mechanic at the time, he's losing his mind but in a different way. And yeah, Osborne was in tears. Everyone was in tears. That was, oh, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. Osborne rolls to the finish line like that, puts his hand up. He's your champion. Unbelievable. That was, oh, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. But the only thing, I'm gonna switch over here to my 450 race here. I don't have no cuts. I do this raw. But the only thing is that this has happened a lot. Not a lot. I've only seen it happen twice. One of these is the instances. I think some of these guys, like some of the people who, like the mechanics, the trainers, whatever. Ken Roxon's guilty of this. Sorry, Kenny, but you're guilty of this too. I think some of these guys forget that they're on TV because literally, they cut over to Savatgy, who's obviously devastated, and this guy, and I'm sorry I have to say this, but he comes over and says, that motherfucker, or whatever, He just cusses Savachi out, cusses Osborne out. It's hilarious. Uh, Kenny's guilty of this too. Last year in Indy, when he swept it, he dropped an F-bomb. I'm sorry, I had to say that. I don't know why I just said that. I'm very sorry to all my child viewers there. But yeah, that was the 250 race, and the 450 race wasn't as crazy, but it's still absolutely insane. Whew, I'm getting chills just thinking about these races, man. Oh, man. Little bit of backstory here on the 450s. You may know, but Dungey and Tomac were in a furious championship fight. Um, it really heated up there at Salt Lake City, and then if things weren't hot already, they really got hot at East Rutherford. I will talk about that race here in a little bit. Um, if you guys like this video, I'll talk about that one next. But we're just coming off of East Rutherford, and that's the famous Moose Scanlett and Dungey by race. Tomac struggled that race, obviously went down, had another issue. So yeah, it was leading up to a big race here at Vegas here. Dungey had the red plate. This was lining up to be a great race, and it did not disappoint. So they take off. Dungey gets the whole shot. I'm not going to pull the whole shot from out here, but Dungey gets the whole shot. And it was clear that he was not, it was very clear, like, that he was not going to win this race. Like, once Tomac got around Baggett, you could tell Tomac he wanted Dungey. Like, he was not going to let Dungey disappear. He was not going to let Dungey win that championship. That was pretty evident. Ken Roxon was still hurt, so he's obviously not in this race. But first lap, after the whoop section, after the first set of whoops, Tomac makes a pass on Baggett. And then, oh yeah, Seeley was not in this race either. Yeah, but Tomac makes a quick pass on Baggett on the first lap, and then they come around. He's eyeing up Dungey, eyeing up Dungey, eyeing up Dungey, eyeing up Dungey. Comes through. I'm going to cost myself the race here so I can show you guys. But he comes through and parks Dungey up on the... Well, he parks Dungey, and Dungey's literally straight up in the corner just like this. And Dungey has to back up and just fight. He didn't lose that many spots, but he lost. He was in the lead, and then he went back to third, so... Then it actually, I don't even remember that. I thought he got around Anderson literally that same lap, or literally as they were coming down the straight on that next lap. No, it took him like 2 laps to get around Jason Anderson there. Oh yeah, this is the lap. So they came around and going off the ski jump where Smith ate it. Dungey literally almost clipped like. He almost clipped, like he got let me show you guys. But he got like front wheel high and almost clipped, oh, like front wheel high, almost clipped Anderson's back wheel, and that could have ended the championship for him. But yeah, gets around him, then Tomac at that point has a 3-second lead. I think he realizes that Dungey is behind him. He's got to do something here. He can't just go out. I know he wants to win the 10th race, but he can't just go out and just win like that. So basically, he slows up, like he slows up and lets Dungey catch him. And I respect Ralph and Jeff, but like Ralph Shaheen and Jeff Emig, but I think they were a little bit clueless there. No disrespect, but I think they were a little bit clueless there, watching that happen, because they were basically saying, "Oh, Tomac, I'm not Tomac. I'm sorry. Dungey's on a mission. Dungey's catching him. Dungey's clearly the fastest guy," and yeah, he was not the fastest guy. Tomac was the fastest guy that night, but he slowed up, and he slowed up and let Dungey catch him. Eventually, the rest of the pack catches him, and so that's like third through fifth catches. Actually, third through sixth, cause oh wait, I guess I don't remember. Like, oh goodness, I literally just watched the race. How do I not remember? But anyway, the pack catches up to him. So like the top 5 or 6 or whatever it was, they're like right there. So 6 minutes to go. Tomac, I don't know what to think of this right here, because Dungey was eyeing him up. Tomac was going single, double, and then on the table. Dungey was taking this line right here and getting to the inside, this inside corner. Like, they were going to the inside a lot in that corner. But Tomac mysteriously makes a mistake here. Double. Dungey flies around the outside of him. Like, flies around the outside of him. And, you know, I think Tomac did that on purpose, let's be real. He realized that the pack was right there. So, Tomac could have easily got around him. He doesn't. But, he waits, and maybe I can use one of these riders as a buffer here. But he comes through and just meets Dungey. They hit about here. Dungey goes off the track. And I'm going to call a little bit of bullcrap on Dungey right here. Respect him. One of the greatest ever. But we saw in 2021, I don't know if anyone remembers, Brandon Hart ran. And this happened to Jason in 2021 too. Clearly send dust clouds off the track. They accelerated, they got docked, and for some reason you could clearly see it on TV. Dungey does the same exact thing, gets bumped off track and pins it. He wasn't clicking gears because it wasn't a long enough straight. It was right alongside that triple back there. But he wasn't clicking gears, but he was pinning it across that. Clearly, probably was frustrated that that just happened, because let's be real, who would not? I don't think anyone would like to be knocked off the track like that. But yeah, he somehow gets back on in second, and let's be real, if he follows the rules there, he gets back on in fourth, and maybe Grant and eventually Reed, because Reed was on a mission this race too. And maybe Reed gets up there and he doesn't let him by, and Tomac wins the championship. Like, I don't know what to think of that, man. Like, him going off track like that and pinning it and everything being just fine. I'm sorry, I'm ruining my race here to show everyone what went down. But yeah, and gets back on in second. They battle for a little bit. There was even a point at the beginning where Anderson almost got by Tomac in the beginning of this. That was crazy. Anyway, back to the point I was at. Where was I? Oh boy. Oh yeah. So after that, Reed clearly is probably the fastest guy on the track at that point. Clearly catching everyone. Baggett, who was in the mix in that top 5, he goes down. I believe Grant, or he clipped Grant or something. He went down. And then Reed clearly on the move. He gets around Grant. And then, like, with a minute or 2 minutes to go, Reed absolutely, he drove it into Anderson, and Anderson pretty much, once again, I don't know what to think of this situation too. But Reed comes down the inside here in the Osborne corner, stuffs Anderson, goes. Anderson somehow doesn't go down, but is right alongside of him. Anderson punts Reed into these tough blocks here, and Reed stuck on the tough block. And Dungey's your champion, because We know St. Louis in of that year, Dungey and Reed, or Reed held up Dungey and cost Dungey potentially a win there. Um, and you know what? If Anderson never punted Reed out of the way there, I think that the last part of that race is very interesting. Very interesting. Like, I'm not even sure if Dungey wins the championship at that point, because Reed was flying. He was obviously going to catch Dungey there. Yeah, I don't know what to think of that. But yeah, I think it would have changed. I think it would have changed that race if Reed did not go down in that race. Like, who knows? Tomac could be going for his sixth title right now. I don't know, but anyway, um, sixth title, right? I think so, something like that. But he would at least be a two-time champion right now. Let's be real. Um, anyway. So they jockey back and forth again, and then they come across the white flag. White flag lap. Everyone, literally everyone, was on their feet that night. Like, that whole main event, nobody was sitting down. I mean, nobody was sitting down. We were all excited. We were all pumped in that stadium. But last lap, everyone's excited, and Tomac, knowing that, hey, this is the last lap, those other guys are still close here, like, I need to do something here. Tomac knows something needs to happen here in order for him to get the title, so this is his last ditch effort. They come through the sand, um, into this rhythm section. I don't remember their rhythms that night, but clearly lets Dungey by. Accelerates, they go side by side over the triple. Tomac stuffs Dungey in here. Dungey roll. And all of this, Anderson snuck by to take the win. And it wasn't until I was walking out of the stadium that night that I realized that if Tomac had won that race, Tomac would have been champion, because Dungey finished fourth. And Tomac could have won the championship that night. That's the reality of it. And it completely... I'm not going to say that changed Tomac's career, him not winning that championship. Because I believe he could have potentially won 18 without the issue that he had in the opening round that year. But, yeah, and Dungey won the championship. That was... Whew, that was a crazy night. Something I forgot to mention on the 250 class, Osborne was actually fined for that. Fined, what, $6,500 or something like that for that pass that he had on Savachi. No penalties came out of the 450 main event. I don't know, man. That was absolutely insane. Like, I don't care who you are, that race goes down in history as the greatest racing night ever. Like, greater than Anaheim 1986, greater than Orlando 2007, better than any of those races for sure. Insane night. Absolutely insane night. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you learned something from this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you probably for the preview show. Thank you for watching. Later.